Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you're all well. So, do we like 9 o'clock better than 8 o'clock? And do we like a Thursday better than a Friday? Just curious. You all can hear me, right? Okay, good. I see you. I see all of you saying hello to Jen, which is fine. I just want to make sure that you can hear me too. All right. So, there are a few things I want to talk about tonight. Um, some of you may have participated in some of the events that Bone and I had before, whether it's like the bourbon thing or the box thing with the fake concert stuff and all that stuff, and we had a blast doing that stuff. But after we did the bourbon thing, I said to everyone who was involved, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. And if we do stuff like this, I want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. And that doesn't mean that everyone's going to be able to do it because there's got to be a limit to things, right? But I don't want to just do things where people are paying out of their ass to come see us. And as grateful as I am that some of you decided to do that, I know a lot of you can't do that. Whether you wanted to or not, you just could not do it. And I don't want anyone to feel left out or less than, right? So, um, I've been toying with this idea for a couple of years, and you let me know what you think. I think it would be cool if we started doing things in like small groups. And I thought maybe what would be a cool thing would be some true like one-on-one time, right? As one-on-one as we can get. Maybe after the show on a particular Friday night or Thursday night, whatever night we decide works best. Like maybe five of you and a guest come down to the radio station and we just sit around and eat pizza and talk. And it can be about anything you want. Just shoot the shit. And I think that that may give me an opportunity to get to know you guys better, right? So, and I want to keep it small, and that means and free, right? So that means like a drawing of some kind, like drawing names, and I don't know necessarily how to go about doing that or what would be fair. And then, we would do these on a regular basis. And if you were able to get into one, then you would make room for somebody else. The next time you wouldn't be able to come again, at least not for quite a while. But I don't know. I mean, ultimately, is that something you guys would be interested in? I guess is the question because we're always uh, toying with these ideas. It's like, well, do you think they would like this? Well, how about I ask if they would like that? So if we're going to do something, I'd like to do it in smaller groups and I'd like it to be free. So you let me know what you think. And also tell me how you're all doing. Tell me about your adventures in life. Is there alcohol involved? No, there will not be alcohol involved because that's a liability issue with having you guys into the radio and TV station serving alcohol. But we will have pizza involved and some sody pop. We're going to talk Columbus pizza for 45 minutes. You can talk anything you want. I will talk pizza all day, every day. Jordan, I saw that you're back in town and catching up with all your old haunts. I hope you had yourself some Hunan Lion, my friend. Oh, by the way, Nicole and I did like 20 minutes of stupid TV today. It's on 10 TV's YouTube feed if you want to watch it. It is very stupid. I enjoy working with Nicole though, and as much as I hate doing TV, they have me doing a lot of it coming up. So you will get to see me looking very uncomfortable on camera and not knowing what to do with my hands. Do I see myself doing this more than once? Yes, I do. Right? So we'll do it. That's the whole point, is that I want to do these on a fairly regular basis since they're going to be relatively small groups. I want to make sure that enough of you get an opportunity to come in and experience it. And it wouldn't just be me, it would be, Timmy would be there, and maybe Fish would be there too. And, just talk about the show, talk about life, whatever you want to talk about. I'll have an opportunity to answer some questions that maybe I can't do when there is a camera on me. How would booking go? See, that's the thing I don't know yet. I don't know if it's everybody put their name in a hat. I don't know if it's send an email. So I don't know. That's something we have to figure out. But see, I don't know if it should be random or if we should pick so we have more of a diverse group and mix people up. I don't know. Maybe people fight to the death. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, a buddy of mine got engaged this week, and I'm going to read you sort of our text exchange that we had. And I'm very happy for him, and I've known him for a long time. And, he said he was getting engaged, and I text him, I'm not going to tell you that everything happens for a reason because I don't believe that shit, but I do believe that every weird turn or bump in your life has brought you here, and I'm proud of you. And his response was, well, I hope you're right because I'm still in some dark places often, but I hope someday it changes, and this is a start to it. Thank you. And the reason why I bring that up, and then there was more stuff that we talked about too, but a lot of you, when you sent your emails into goodcleanboy@gmail.com, mentioned the mental health aspect of things and how listening to the show helps you, and how listening to me talk about my struggles helps. And I keep hearing people, not necessarily the emailers, but just in general, and I'm belching because I'm drinking San Pellegrino, saying, I'm getting help for mental health, but I'm still depressed and I can't find something that is a cure for me. And what am I doing wrong? And all of this. And my friend, who I just read you the text, was talking about, I still am in the dark. I have dark places sometimes. And, but I asked him, I said, ultimately, are you happy? Are you in love with this woman? Oh, of course I am. I mean, of course she makes me happy. She's the most wonderful person in the world. Well, that's great. All right. And just because we have dark moments, just because we are depressed, doesn't mean that we don't live our lives, right? And take joy in things when they present themselves. I have a very controversial theory. All right. And I really hope that maybe you are not dealing with any of this stuff. Maybe you know somebody who is, and I hope that you forward them the link to this show, even if they have no idea who the hell I am. I contend that everyone on earth suffers from depression, just the same way that I think everyone on earth suffers from back pain at some time in their life, right? And most people, their back hurts. Maybe they slept in a weird position, or they were lifting something they shouldn't be lifting, right? And they take some ibuprofen, and maybe it goes away in a couple days, and that's the end of it until the next time their back hurts. And I think it's the same thing with depression and sadness. So people have moments of sadness, maybe sometimes for no reason, sometimes because they were in a bad relationship, whatever it is. And they have to take some time and they get over it and they're okay. until the next time they're sad. And there will always be a next time, just like there will always be a next time that your back will eventually hurt. But just because you're sad, just because you're depressed, doesn't necessarily mean that you need advanced help or that you need to, oh my God, what's wrong? And I think that sometimes people, they mean well. It's like, oh, you feel sad. Well, you go get some pills. Pills are good. I take pills, right? But if you hurt your back, you don't just run up to somebody and say, you need surgery now. Well, no, I need to manage this and see if it gets better. If it becomes a regular chronic problem that affects my everyday life, then yes, then surgery is an option. And I feel like depression is the same way. If you're depressed a little bit in life, that's all right. That's normal. Everybody's that way, whether they want to admit it or not. If it's chronic and starts to affect your day-to-day life, well, then good news, there are people that can help with that, whether it's therapy, whether it's medication, right? And there are avenues for you to explore. And I hope if it is impacting your everyday life, that you are exploring those avenues. But I want to be perfectly clear. By the way, I'm going to write a book called I Don't Know Shit, but Neither Do You, right? So take all of this with a grain of salt. Um, Let me be clear, though, there is no cure for depression. You treat depression. And just because you're treating your depression and just because you still have sadness doesn't mean that your treatment's not working, because that's something that people do all the time. Well, I'm taking these pills, but I still feel sad, so I'm going to stop taking my pills. And then you spiral, right? It's like, well, I still feel sad, so why am I taking these pills? Because there's all different types of sadness, right? There's debilitating sadness, and then there's sadness that we manage. My friend was talking about he has moments in the dark. So do I, every day, right? But show of hands, I can see all of you. No, I can't. How many of you love anchovies? Just show of hands. I can't see you, but let's pretend that I can. All right. Um, I'm guessing that not a lot of you are raising your hands, right? Maybe some of you are. I actually like anchovies by themselves, right? But I know most of you probably don't. Now, who of you love Italian food? Show of hands. I'm guessing that more of you like Italian food than you like anchovies, right? If you were going to go to my wife and daughter and say, do you like anchovies? They would say, no, I don't like anchovies. They're disgusting. But I like to think of depression as anchovies. And the darkness, the depression, as long as it doesn't overwhelm and suffocate you, it's part of who you are too, right? And you don't necessarily want to eliminate that, because what I had said to my friend um, was this. I said, the dark doesn't go away. You just get used to it. Even on heavy medication, the dark is still in me. But you also have to understand that there's an essence to you. The dark, although bad, shapes your very existence. You wouldn't be you without it, and she wouldn't love you without it. And I feel that way about myself. The dark, the depression makes me interesting to a lot of you, makes me relatable to a lot of you. And if I didn't have to deal with these things in my life or manage my depression, if I was just, clicking my heels all the time, I would not be sitting here talking to you. I'd be doing something else. And that part of me is important. I don't want it to overwhelm. I don't want it to overpower, but I also don't want it to go away. And I feel like we sort of wish things away, like, I want to be cured. You're not going to be cured. And learn how to use the darkness, the depression, learn how to use it Learn how to cook with anchovies, okay? Again, my wife says, I hate anchovies. My daughter says, I hate anchovies. If you ask them for a list of their favorite things that I make, all of it has anchovies in it. Now, I don't put a plate of pasta on the table and then throw a whole anchovy tin right on top and say, ta da, right? That's what you do when you're younger because you don't understand how to work with anchovies. But what I like to do is when I'm cooking, I take anchovies and I chop them up into little tiny pieces. And then I saute them and they melt into whatever I am making. And the final product, you eat it and you can't identify that there's anchovies in there, but you'd know if they weren't there. You'd miss it if it wasn't there. It gives it this umami flavor, right? And I tested this once. I made one of their favorite pastas and I omitted the anchovies just to see if they would notice something was off. Both of them said, doesn't, I can't tell you why. It tastes different. It doesn't taste the same. And it's because I didn't put the anchovies in. All right. Depression equals anchovies in this stupid analogy. It's a part of the dish. You have to learn how to cook with it. You don't just take it and eat it raw, right? You melt it into the sauce and it becomes this whole thing that makes you, you. And I feel like a douchebag doing a motivational speech here. But I was thinking about this in the car the other day, and I was saying, because I thought about this anchovy analogy for a while, and I'm like, well, do I share this with people? Would they get anything out of it if I actually told them that depression and darkness can actually work in their favor because they can make you a more complete entity? A lot of people don't want to hear that. Um, but I really do believe that. I really do believe that as you get older, and that comes with therapy, that comes with medication, that comes with experience sometimes, even if you don't need all those things, you learn how to cook with anchovies. And I just wanted to have that conversation with you guys tonight. I don't know why I felt the need to do it. I just felt like if we were going to have a talk about mental health, I would let you know how I think of things. And again, my book is called I Don't Know Shit, but Neither Do You. So this is the world according to me. Um, that's what I have tonight. So the rest is up to you. Questions, thoughts? Mikey, you're full of shit. All of it is acceptable. How much pull do you have at the Columbus Zoo? Because it sounds like Tito wants to fight a kangaroo. The kangaroo would probably kick Tito's ass. Um, Jordan used to work at the zoo. Actually, it was pretty cool. Samantha and Kristen this past weekend got to do a little tour at the zoo, thanks to one of our fine listeners. I did not attend because I was not feeling very well, and I didn't want to get him sick or really the animals sick. I still had congestion and gross and goop, but she had an absolute blast, and I was jealous. She got to go, behind the scenes and do all that sort of stuff, and she had a blast. And she said that she wasn't, scared at all. I mean, she's tiny, right? So she was with the kangaroos, and a lot of them are eye level with her. And she said that they all just sort of came up to her and wanted to be around her. And so they probably looked at it and said, "Oh, there's another tiny thing in here, another tiny person. Let's hang out there." But she had a blast. And she does go to Wildlife every single year too. I don't know what it's called when you have no feelings at all, but that's me. That's called a psychopath. And that's all right as long as you don't act on that and say, you know what? I don't really care what happens. I wonder what would happen if I just stabbed this person in the stomach, ripped out their organs, and played jump rope. You know, don't do that. Sociopath, not psychopath. What's the difference between the two? Psychopath and sociopath. Somebody help me. Do other stations' PDs want to know how you make your sausage? Um, yes, not just locally, but I think a lot of people look at what I've done and wonder how I've done it because maybe some of you who just grew up here and you don't really you're not students of radio, and why the hell would you be? I mean, this is my profession, but you use it as a form of entertainment. The show that I've done for a while is incredibly odd, and it doesn't really fit into a lot of boxes. I do a sports show that doesn't do a lot of sports, and we talk about things that we're not supposed to talk about. If you just went up to somebody in the radio business and you said, "Hey, uh, I host a sports show in a sports crazy town, and we do sports maybe on a good day, 30% of the time, we will bring up um, pornography and religion and other things that make you very uncomfortable. But we always laugh and people come back." They'd say, "That's the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life." And so it's hard to explain that to people because I don't, it's almost like don't try this at home. I wouldn't recommend that anybody else do this type of show, but for some reason it's worked for me. I'm sure there will be a shelf life to that and an end date to that where one day it doesn't. But hopefully I'm, on my way out by that point and I don't have to worry about it. I said I got 10 more years. When Samantha turns 18, I'm out. And we'll see if the next generation can come up with some cool shit too. I like how Fish liked that quote. The show I've done is incredibly odd. And you know what? Fish can vouch for that because Fish is a student of the game. Fish grew up idolizing some of the same people that I did. And I've managed to take little pieces of people and make this soup that probably has too many ingredients in it and shouldn't taste good, but to a lot of people it does, hence you being here tonight. Your show reminds me of the Steve Zabin show where you talk a variety of things, not just sports. Sucks that Zabin let go recently from his job in Milwaukee. Radio's a tough business, man. I never got a chance to work with Steve. I did enjoy his show on occasion, but there's been a lot of people that I've worked with over the years that were very talented, that I thought did a very good job. And for one reason or the other, it was a bad situation, or they were just tired of being dicked around, or their companies were sold a million times. Had to move. They got out of this business, or the business retired them. It's a shame too, because there's a lot of those guys still out there, and they worked in radio for a long time. And when it was all finished, they didn't have much to show for it in terms of monetarily. So, Jesus Christ, by the way, that's professional. Hopefully, I can buck that trend a little bit, but I've already told my daughter that she's not allowed to do any of this. She's better than that. Tuna meatball recipe soon. I got to talk to mom about that. And you don't want them. Trust me. A show with Samantha when she's older. No, she's not allowed to do that. As a matter of fact, we don't. She doesn't do screen time at home, right? And everybody's got their own ideas of what's good and what's bad and what's healthy. And I'm not saying what we do is the way everybody should do it. We just don't do it. She doesn't have iPad access. She doesn't do any of that stuff. And when she's at school, though, she has to get on computers at the library, and they're doing learning games, and they're researching things for little papers that they're writing and stuff like that. And she said, "Daddy, I missed you the other day, and so I went to Google and I put Riccardotti and the fan in there, and all these pictures of you came up." And I said, "That's great. I miss you too, and I wish I could see you all day, every day. Please never do that again." I don't want her to read that stuff about me, good, bad, whatever. I just want her to think of me as her dad, right? And I don't want to put her in a position one day where she has to read stuff about herself like that. So um, it's just interesting. If I could go back in time and do it again, I would, because it's provided a very nice life for me. But I've always thought, maybe I go back in time and I use a fake name, right? So if you do Google that fake name, then all the crap comes out. But the real guy's at home with his family and doesn't have to worry about all of that stuff. But that's just that's just life. I just don't want her to be a part of that. Once upon a time, you promised that Kristen would be on one of these. Dude, she needs to. I've told her about this before, and she's like, "You need to give me more time." What time? I need to be dressed and have makeup on, and it's too late for that. You don't have to be dressed or have makeup on. You can come down in a sweatshirt without makeup on. I can't do that. What do they think of me? What do they think of you? I use this annoying, shrill voice and tell our deepest, darkest secrets, and you're afraid of showing up without makeup on? That's going to change people's perceptions of us? Come on, that's stupid. What's the latest CD? What's the latest thing that I bought? I went back and I bought some catalog stuff, some stuff that I don't already have. So I think I bought actually I got on a John Mellencamp kick because Timmy brought him up a couple weeks back, and there was a couple from his catalog that I did not have in the collection, like Big Daddy, which is a tribute to Paul Keels. And so I went back and I bought that. I did buy Sarah McLachlan, Jen. Sarah McLachlan has a new album out, and I bought it, and it's very Sarah McLachlan-y. So if you like Sarah McLachlan, you will like it. I liken that to Taco Bell. Nobody says I just like one thing at Taco Bell. You either like nothing at Taco Bell or everything at Taco Bell. You either like all of Sarah McLachlan or none of Sarah McLachlan. I get it. Are we arguing about Michigan in here? Is this what we're doing? Um, I can't listen to Sarah McLachlan without seeing the ASPCA commercial. I know, me too. Am I a bad parent for allowing my 2-year-old daughter to listen to this show? No, you're probably a bad parent for other reasons, but she's 2. This isn't going to scar her when she's 2. Do you miss T-Bone in the 3 o'clock spot? Sure, I do. T-Bone was my co-host for 12 years. There's always going to be a connection there, but I got to tell you guys, T-Bone's great in the morning. Like, I really enjoy listening to him and Tyvis, and I'm a tough critic. I don't like a lot of stuff. I don't listen to a lot of air quotes sports radio. But I dig what they're doing. Maybe you don't, but I do. And I'm having a blast with Timmy. He is annoying as shit, and I love him for it. Right. And sometimes actually somebody said to me the other day, you guys really sound like you hate each other. It's the opposite of that. We love each other, and I'm so comfortable with him, and we can sort of take on this role of old married couple and just pick at each other. And um, I hope that's fun for you guys to listen to. It's fun for us to do, but we also have to be aware that sometimes we can get a little bit too demented and probably need to pull back a little bit. If you listen to the show today, it was extra demented. So good, bad, that's your decision. Timmy is freaky. You think I'm a little mean to Timmy. I understand that. I'll work on that. My default is mean to the people that I love. I like to poke them. You know what's interesting about Timmy too is that I don't, and this is before too, when I first met Timmy. I don't laugh easy. I'm not an easy laugh, and he makes me just gut laugh. And it's usually, just the way he says stuff, where he just throws some random shit in. But a lot of times it's just him being him, like him being stupid, or what I perceive to be stupid. And it just makes me gut laugh. And I love that. Is the synergy with 10 TV working out well? It's an interesting time in our business, friends. It's an interesting time for us specifically. Um, our pathway was we were with the Wolf family and Dispatch. So it was us, and it was Channel 10, and it was the newspaper, and we were all locally owned and operated, and that's it, right? And then we were sold to Tegna. And Tegna is a television company. They're a publicly traded company. So it's a little bit different than just being owned by a prominent local family. And we were also the only radio station that Tegna owned. We still are the only radio station that Tegna owns. They have dozens of TV stations. They have lots of rules and guidelines in place for those TV stations. They have no idea how to run radio, and that can be good and bad. The good is they sort of don't know how to run it, so they don't try and run it. The bad is they think they know how to run it sometimes, and they think they know how to run it like it's TV, and it's not. It's a completely different product. So we just sort of got used to this role that we're in. And now we're going to be sold again to another bigger television company. Good or bad, they own one other radio station, and that is WGN in Chicago. And we'll see if this sale ultimately goes through or not. But um, I think the change on the TV side, and we're already starting to see it, is consolidation, unfortunately. You go back to when I started working in this company 22 years ago, you went over to 10 TV and they had like a person there who was a professional makeup person who would put makeup on all the people. Well, that person's gone. Now you go to Target, you buy your own makeup. Every reporter in the field had a photog, a camera person with them. Get out of a van, camera person would come, set up the shot, the reporter would stand there. Hi, this person's dead. Back to you. Right? Now, what they do is they hire really, really young people, right? and that's cool. But the reason why they hire really, really young people is because they are what? Cheap. And they don't give them a photog. So these reporters are young, inexperienced, and they're holding their own cameras and they're setting things up themselves. So they are reporting the story, they are driving the van, they are their own producer, own technical advisor on the shoot, all of that, right? And they're doing twice as much work as the veterans that came before them did. And that's not going to go away. That's going to continue to get worse. I get pissed off sometimes when I see Nicole Sharon, walk out the door carrying big ass camera equipment, lugging it around. When she goes to these high school football games, she goes by herself, right? So she's filming, she's reporting, she's doing it all. Now, she's not going to complain about that. That's her job, and she doesn't know any different. But knowing what the job used to be, I've seen it. It's interesting, to say the least. And it's going to continue to go down that road. And that's where we come in on our side because they want more content for digital. They want more content for other alternate newscasts that they're doing, YouTube stuff. Well, are they going to go out and hire other people to make that content? Or are they going to rely on people that are already in the building, us, to help them make it? And that's what we're going to do. I'm not complaining. This is just part of the gig now. It's not just sit down, do a radio show anymore. It's sit down, you know, worry about digital, help out Channel 10, whatever needs to be done gets done. And hopefully we do it well and with some flavor. And so people will want to come and consume it again. But it's a completely different business than it was. And I'm sure in 20 years it will resemble something even more different than it is right now. You have some wording in your contract that prevents that, right? I'm sort of the last, I was sort of the last in the door of older school radio guy. Um, so I've managed to make it work for me. Some of these younger dudes and ladies coming up, I don't know how they're going to make it work for them. When I say make it work, it is um, have stable careers, make enough money to raise a family, and work in this business until you retire. Um, because I think a lot of the really talented people are going to get frustrated and they're going to leave for other jobs. I've seen it. A lot of the people that you grew up probably watching on local TV, some are still there, but others have moved on. Kristen, when I first met her, was a television producer, right? And she worked at Channel 4. She had an internship at Channel 10 when she was in college, and then she worked at Channel 4 for many years. And she was like their number one producer. She was awesome at her job, and she didn't want to do it anymore. Just didn't pay enough, didn't see the opportunity for growth. And when you let people like that sort of walk out the door, and she's not the only one. There are lots of people in the business that are like that that just say, "Okay, well, I've outgrown this now. Time to get a real job." And the reality is, unless you're at that anchor desk, and even sometimes that, it's hard. It's a hard living. It's hard to make a living, right? Dom Taberry is a unicorn, friends. You're not going to see Dom Taberry's anymore. Dom Taberry has never worked anywhere else in his life. He has worked at Channel 10 since 1981. He's been there for 44 years. You will never see that again. I'm a unicorn at 22 years in one spot. He's at 44. You're not going to see it. Business is different. Business is going to change. You getting me to 44 years? Get the hell out of here. I'm not doing 44 years. What about all this AI nonsense? How is it affecting behind the scenes? Not really what we do. We use it for shits and giggles, but like music stations across the country, I mean, they were already dead, and now this is it. This is the final nail in the coffin. Um, because chances are these stations, a lot of them were using one person in one location, not even in your town, doing voice tracking for 6 different radio stations, right? And that means voice tracking means recording. It sounds like you're there, but you're not there. And now they're going to even get rid of that and put AI voices, and some have already done that. And a lot of these AI voices, they're so good that people don't really notice or care. What I do is going to be much harder for AI to replicate. I've seen some programs, I've seen people try, and it just, you guys write me the emails, right? When I say, what do you like about the show? And um, the stuff that I read back is, sounds like you're talking with your buddies. You guys don't take yourself too seriously. Authenticity. These are all things that AI cannot replicate, at least not yet. And I'm not worried about it. I think that I'm just going to continue to be as authentic as I can possibly be, share my struggles with you, relate to you on a level that a computer program cannot. Because they can say all the right things, but ultimately, you're going to know that they're full of shit, right? Because it's pretending to be real and it's not real. I am real, very real. If you want dozens of pie options with ice cream, Watts Restaurant in Utica. I love pie. If you were listening to the show today, you heard me say that. Are you excited for your trip to Italy? I am excited. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about everything. I just want everything to go okay, right? International travel takes me out of my comfort zone. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. But normal international travel takes me out of my comfort zone. Going to the Olympics really takes me out of my comfort zone because, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I've never been to the Olympics before. Um, so I hope that everything goes smoothly because I just want my wife and daughter to have that experience without me totally freaking out. Would it be weird if I asked for your autograph? Of course not. I have a 97 One The Fan t-shirt that I'd be so honored for you to sign, but I also don't want to make you feel uncomfortable asking. No, of course not. It does not make me uncomfortable. Interacting with you guys does not make me uncomfortable. This is how I make my living. This is how I pay my bills. This is the way that I've chosen to live my life. And nothing makes me uncomfortable when somebody comes up to me and tells me that they enjoy what I do. Um, it does make me uncomfortable. People tell me the opposite because I am a human being. But no, of course not. You can either send it into the radio station, I'll sign it and send it back to you, or next time you see me out, Please don't hesitate. Shoot your shot with Gabby Thomas. I'm a fucking troll. She wants nothing to do with me. And my wife would be next to me the whole time laughing, as she should. Did you ever come to Zanesville to try Donald's Donuts? No, I have not. Jen will send you some little directions as to how to send it to the radio station. I did. Do you still talk to Chops? Is he doing okay? I've not heard from Chops. He's a father now, and I don't know how he's doing. I hope he's doing well. This place in Zanesville is the number one donut from USA Today. How could that be bad? Do you ever get Beamer mixed up with his baby? Beamer looks like a grown man baby. I sometimes want to go up to him and just squeeze him. Oh, you're so cute. Leanna Ray update. I've not heard from Leanna in quite a while. I hope she's doing well. Um, she was in Detroit when last I heard from her, and she would reach out from time to time just to let us know what she was doing and how she was doing. But I've not heard from her, and I don't want to intrude in her life in any way. So I hope she's doing fantastic. Kelly, hello from New Mexico. I'm glad that you're here. What's the pinball machine in the background? Oh, that is an old Bally's pinball machine called Old Chicago. I had a pinball machine in my basement when I was a kid, and it was another Bally's model from around this time period. It was called Aladdin's Castle. And I couldn't find that one, but I found this one a few years back, and Samantha and I love to play it together. We have a little record book that we keep, and actually, it's the same record book that I had when I was 15 from the other pinball machine, too. What if you pulled in Torg to one of these? Torg has had many invitations. He knows he's always welcome. I have welcomed him on, uh, tried to get him on the show to screw around with us for a little while. I tried to get him when we were going to do it to Man and Bone Fest. And by the way, Torg wants to do all of this stuff. Torg is not allowed to do it from his radio station. They have declined, and that's their right to do it, to do so. But I'd like to do it. Torg would like to do it. We're not allowed to do it. And that's on his end, not on mine. Do you have any signed memorabilia? I have a few things. On the other side of this wall, I have a 2005 Chicago White Sox team signed jersey. I have that. And actually, there was a music auction today that had a ton of stuff in it. And it was live from London. There's day two tomorrow. By the way, day two tomorrow, Jen, is all Oasis shit. And they had a ton of Oasis stuff today. It sold for so much money. It is so crazy. The popularity of Oasis the last year. I mean, they were always popular, especially in England, they were popular. But I'd pop on these auctions and I could get some stuff at fairly reasonable prices. And now, like Jen, I saw that the guitar that Noel used to record Wonderwall went up for auction today. And I think it went for 300,000 pounds, something like that. I mean, just ridiculous prices. They had a huge Oasis banner that was used as a backdrop for one of their concerts. And I'm like, oh, because they have a little like they suggested price, what they think it's going to sell for. And it was 1 to 2,000 pounds. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, that may be cool. Maybe I'll buy that and put it in my music room and have it sort of like as a backdrop. And so I go on there to bid for it today. It sold for 34,000 pounds. It was projected 1 to 2,000 pounds, 34,000 pounds. Crazy. You listen to the band Tool at all? Yes, I like Tool. I actually, weirdly like A Perfect Circle more than I like Tool, if that makes any sense. But I do like Tool. 34,000 pounds sounds like my ex-girlfriend. Eee, I like it. A Perfect Circle is more melodic. It is. I like melody. I don't apologize for that. T-Bone hates melody, which is why he loves like the stuff that he listens to, which more power to him. But and every time I bring it up, he's like, I don't hate melody. And then I'll give him examples of how he hates melody. He's like, okay, I guess I hate melody. They had some Beatles stuff up there today too, Jen. Went for ridiculous prices. Who's talking about contemporary jazz? What's Demon Hunter? So Demon Hunter, you're saying, has melody to it? All right. Well, you know what? I'm writing it down. Three in the P. Demon Hunter. Also, Rachel Hunter. And if you don't know who Rachel Hunter is, she was a supermodel with red hair, and she's probably 70 and looks like a crocodile now. But back in the day, bueno. Is there anything from Demon Hunter that I should be listening to specifically? Demon Hunter is a super group of Christian bands? I did not know that. Strike one. Tory Hunter. Yes, Tory Hunter. Good outfielder for the Twins and Angels. And Kenny Williams will tell you he almost signed Tory Hunter, but didn't. Yeah, what is the K-pop? Like my daughter talks about the. Is that what it is? K-pop Demon Hunters? What's your favorite newer artist? I don't I don't listen to a ton of newer stuff. Um, what's new? I don't know. Like Royal Blood. Do you know Royal Blood? Like a two-piece British act? Pretty good. Do you like rap? No, I do not. I'm not a rap guy. I'm not a hip hop guy. I'm not a country guy. Royal Blood is in the Queen. Yes, that's right. Listen to Alt J. I actually have an Alt J album. I couldn't tell you which one off the top of my head, but Beamer actually gifted it to me years ago because he said he thought I would like it, and it's fine. Um, it's not in the heavy rotation. DMAs from Australia. All right. Maroon 5 up and coming. Yeah, that's right. And she will be loved. Alt J is dad music? Well, then what the hell do I like? Need to listen to Mammoth, Eddie Van Halen's son. Can I tell you a little, just between you and me? I'm not a big Van Halen fan. Does it sound like, and it's Eddie Van Halen, I have the same problem with him that I have with Tom Morello. They're excellent guitarists. They're fantastic. But I feel like they make the songs more about what they can do, and I don't get into it as much because I feel like I'm just listening to one big giant show off piece, if that makes sense. Creed is dad. Of course, Creed is dad music. Yeah. Beethoven is a good listen. Yes, I do. I actually have a. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. That really is white. Ugh, I bought this guy when I was 16 years old. He's been with me ever since. This is my Ludwig van Beethoven sculpture floating bust head guy. And he sits in my music room with me and enjoys. Beethoven is my favorite classical composer. If you listen to Beethoven, he was almost like the hard rock guy of his generation, where, Mozart, very pretty, very wonderful. Um, but you listen to Beethoven stuff, and there's a little bit of an edge to it, for that time. He had darkness to his tunes. Yes, he did. I heard Beethoven would play a whole sonata with his dong. He wasn't blind, he was deaf. And he went deaf. He wasn't always deaf. All right. What is it, 10 o'clock? Anyway, I hope that you found the earlier part of this beneficial. I don't know. I do want to come up with a plan to get some interaction with you guys in smaller groups in the radio station, very casual, bring a guest so that you feel comfortable, that sort of stuff. And if that sounds good to you, I'm going to work that out with Fish and Jen and Timmy and the rest of the team. And we'll put something together and we'll try it out. If it works, great. We'll continue to do it. If it doesn't work, then we'll pivot to something else. But we're trying to come up with these ideas like, oh, what do you think people would like? How about we ask them if they would like it? So there you go. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be in tomorrow, but Timmy is having Jake Diebler on the show, which kind of pisses me off because he's coming on when I'm not there, and I think that's intentional. However, Timmy has promised me that the reason he's coming on tomorrow is to announce something big for the future, with him possibly joining us for a longer period of time. So please listen to Timmy tomorrow. I hope all of you have a great weekend. I appreciate you staying up late with me tonight. Fish, go to bed because that idiot's going to be at the radio station at 6 o'clock in the morning. So goodbye, everybody. And Beethoven says good night.
Goodbye.